Hey everybody, I am back again with another plan with me. Okay, so do you remember last week how I was talking about in my February monthly haul of the overlays and how beautiful they were going to be, like they were meant for this kit? Yeah, so I knew that I had to have this kit down this week. Pardon me. I end up not using one of the full overlays, that pinky shattered glass one that you see. I end up not using because the other ones were just so beautiful. There's my I probably am going to say it a million more times, but have you ever had a week that was going so well, but then by the end of the week you felt defeated? That's this last week. Not defeated in the sense that I don't really know how to explain it. Not defeated in the sense that, everything is not going in plan. It's just, we had a couple incidences this past weekend, that just were more mentally exhausting than they were physically exhausting. And I think those are the incidences that are hard, when they just mentally exhaust you. And I'll get to it. But I will say that in this video, I had to stop filming, and then there is a transition point, and you can definitely tell because the filming had to resume at a later time when lighting was different. And so you see where that is. I try to keep the lighting as consistent as possible, but it is what it is, and it happens. So, date dots. Oh boy, do I have date dots. And I had to go through 6 pages right there to find a page that actually had the date dots that I needed for this week. But I'm so excited for the overlays on this week. Seriously, when you were looking at it, these overlays were made for this kit. That's just my opinion, but I'm adoring it. I really need to start using up all of my overlays. You get so many overlays in the rolls for the subscription that it's insane, that I don't think I will ever get through a roll of overlays. There just really isn't any way that I possibly could. Well, maybe, and that's maybe if I use a lot of overlays. So, okay. So I have a couple stories, and they're going to take over some time, and I think I'm going to split them up this week. I think I'm going to cover just one story today, and then maybe the next story I will cover in another video, because I really just don't want to talk about that second story. There's that again. So, like I said earlier, there's going to be a shift because I had to stop filming, and then restart at a later time. And that was because in the middle of filming this video, my kids came running upstairs. My oldest going, Mom, there was an accident. And I'm like, what happened? He's like, well. And I'm like, just spit it out. What happened to somebody? And my daughter was running around downstairs, playing around, not listening to the instructions of sit down, watch a movie while your brother finishes mopping the floor. And they were running around. She slipped, she fell, hit her chin on the tile floor, and busted her chin open. Insert sad pouty face right here. Yeah. So that was a stop. Let's head to the ER. Everybody get socks and shoes on. Brothers really picked up the slack and were like, let me help you here, and helped put her shoes on and helped walk her to the car and stayed next to her. They were really good. They really didn't want her to be scared because she was already scared enough. And she was just like, am I going to die? Mom, I think I'm dying. And I'm like, darling, you're not dying. There really isn't even a lot of blood. You're okay. Blood is my thing. blood doesn't bother me at all. I know it bothers a lot of people. I can see massive amounts of blood and it doesn't bother me at all. I do not like to watch when they take my own blood. I have no problem watching it on anybody else. So doing those things, repairing any types of lacerations, any of those types of things, like, they don't bother me. Vomit, that's another story. Vomit and I'm done. Hey, we all have our things we can't deal with. But blood, guts, brains, fecal matter, all that fun stuff doesn't bother me. Hindsight, I probably should have become a nurse of some sort, or a doctor, who knows. But that's where we spent most of Saturday. We only spent 3 hours there, but by the time we got out, it was close to dinner time. I was mentally exhausted, and we needed to grab some food and just go home and hang out and snuggle. My daughter has a fear of needles. She hates it. She sees the needle, she immediately starts to have a small little anxiety attack, panic attack, and freaks out and wants to get away as much as possible. So we tried everything that we could. We tried putting some numbing medication on her chin, and then they were going to do a local block with some lidocaine. But as soon as she saw that needle, she was done. And there was no prying her head back to help her hold still or anything like that. So we ended up giving her a sedative. She has had this type of sedative before when she has had to have some dental work done. And so we knew what to expect. I knew what to expect. And she was loopy. She was, after they gave her the sedative, because the way they had to give the sedative was it was a nasal spray, and she was like done. Anxiety attack, crying, bawling her eyes out. Like, the gamut of emotions that we experienced yesterday was, I say yesterday because as I'm filming this, it's Sunday, but the gamut of emotions that we experienced on Saturday was, they were all there. They were all there, and they weren't done by me. They were done by her. So her range of emotions was across the entire spectrum. And yeah, we have some funny moments. We have some sad moments. Nothing was ever scary. In fact, my boys were doing just fine. They were just kind of like, we're here at the ER again. And okay, they were more interested to actually see how stitches actually are done, which I thought was pretty cool. They were all interested in that. So after we give her the sedative and she calms down and everything, she's, getting all a little bit loopy and relaxed, and we're able to do it. And I have to hold her head down while one of the other doctors holds her arm down, and then the other doctor stitches her up. And I was just fine with that, being up by her head to talk to her, to look at her. And we went from everything like, don't you dare touch me with that, you get that needle away, to, what are you doing to me? What are you doing to me? I have to see this. You have to show me what you're doing. And we just were like, to all of a sudden she was crying like, I'm dying. This hurts. I want to go home. Like, the range of emotions was, we were like, okay. Like, we didn't know what to do except just keep, consoling her, to be like, hey, we're okay. Everything's fine. We're almost done. We didn't refer to the stitches as stitches because every time we said stitches, it became a, whatchamacallit, like all hell break loose, I'm going to cry and emotions. So we referred to them as Band-Aids. He's just putting in another Band-Aid. He just has one more Band-Aid to go. He's tying off the Band-Aids. And that seemed to actually really help. She was like, okay, how many more Band-Aids? And then they didn't get one of the stitches in correctly, so they did have to cut it out. And she was like, you just leave it in. You don't need to touch it. And they're like, no, we need to just cut the Band-Aid. And she's like, you're not going to stick me with a needle, are you? I mean, it just was... We're like, no, we're just going to take a pair of scissors. We're going to clip the end of the Band-Aid and you'll be done. It wasn't going to tell her that they were pulling it out of her skin because I didn't need any more drama of that aspect. Like, she didn't need to know. She couldn't feel it. We were all good. Anyways, we get going and get discharged, and she's still pretty loopy. Like, I have to hold her with one hand and put my arm around her to kind of help keep her stabilized. And she's over there. She's like, whoa, I'm dizzy. And my boys are like, dude, she's so high right now. And one of my kids goes, is she drunk? And I'm like, no, she's on medication that's making her feel a little loopy and walking around. And she heard it, and she yells in the middle of the parking lot, I'm drunk. And we just, the boys are laughing, and I'm just face palming my hand because I'm like, these kids are going to get me in trouble. But I think that's every parent. Your kids are always going to say things that you're like, yep, and this is the time that I'm going to get in trouble. And I promise you, my kid just got discharged from the ER. She's just still on a medication. And we get to the curb, and I'm like, okay, darling, there's a curb here. I'm going to need you to step down. We stop. She just starts leaning forward. And I'm like, you can't lean forward. You have to step down. She's like, oh, that's what you do? I'm like, oh my gosh, they should not have discharged us yet. You had to be there. It was hilarious. At the end of the day, just laugh at this, because the story, you can only laugh at this. Otherwise, you'll just cry. She's fine. She's okay. We came home. She's resting. She's got a good Band-Aid on her chin. She's happy. She's go lucky. She slept well on Saturday night. And yeah. And we have another trip in the ER in the books. And wonderful stories to tell when they're older. I wonder what story she's going to tell for this battle scar, because she's going to have a little scar. That's the one I'm interested in. Anyways, so I had to stop all my filming on Saturday to obviously take care of the situation when we came home, because she's been on this medication before. It's very much, I keep her pretty, not isolated, but in a general area. She doesn't walk up the stairs by herself. She doesn't go to the bathroom by herself until the medication is metabolized fully through her system, because at any time you could get dizzy and fall, and that's the last thing that I need. So we stopped, we got some dinner, and we came home and cuddled on the bed and enjoyed the rest of the evening watching shows and just enjoying each other's company. And anytime you talk about stitches, she gets tears in her eyes. So we don't call them stitches, we're calling them Band-Aids. I told her we did have to take the Band-Aid off on Monday so that we could clean up around it and just replace the Band-Aid. And she got all scared, and I was like, it's okay. And now she's like, we got to take this Band-Aid off, and we got to clean it. And I'm just like, okay. Apparently it all has to be her idea. Yeah. Sunday. So I didn't sleep all too well Saturday night. So there was nothing crazy going on this week. Errands running, and this story is the one that takes up. See, there's the transition. Yeah, sorry, I had to figure out what I'm talking about because the transition threw me off. So yes, so I do videos a little bit earlier. So the past, my Saturdays and Sundays are always pretty normal. Nothing ever changes too much within them. I'm really glad that the ER trip happened when it did, so I could put it down. Granted, I would have been able to put it down in the memory keeping spread, but anyways, Sunday morning led to a fun adventure with bugs, and that is a story for another time because bugs. I don't like bugs, and I don't particularly like the bugs that we had to deal with. It was an anxiety-inducing thing, and I ended up having to run some errands, So I ended up taking my older two to church so that they could go, and then took the younger two with me because I wanted my daughter to stay with me still, just in case, 24 hours post an ER discharge is my thing. And yes, I know full well that I did not fill in the meals for Saturday or Sunday, which is perfect, and I will get to that. And then I decided to do the sidebar last again. I know that in the past I've been doing it at the beginning, and now because I'm doing fun things with glitter headers and stacking them, I'm trying to figure out the pattern of glitter headers, because I don't normally do glitter headers like that, and so I want to make sure that I have enough glitter headers of colors for the sidebar. And so I finish out the sidebar, and really it's nothing crazy. And then I put in that other bottom box. Sometimes I will put a full box with like that being an adult header sticker, but there really isn't a need for me to when I have a week that really is just revolving around like the sticker business. And that's what this last week was finishing up everything to get some stuff out. So, but I will go through all the character stickers that I laid down, because that's what I do, right? Because the spread is not a spread unless I have character stickers in it. So the sidebar just basically goes through co-op, dance, taekwondo, dance, and then we had D&D, and that's when I ran some errands, which that Costco story is in and of itself another story, so that will be another story later on this week. And then Saturday with the ER trip, Sunday with church. That sticker right there is Quill from, I'm not sure Quill is still available, but Sweet Ava's paper. And then Sweet Ava's paper again. And the quail is bugging me. Like, my hand is shaking at this point, and I can't, like, hold something still. And so that was Snowball from Sweet Ava's paper. And then the Taekwondo stickers is from Once More with Love. Dance on Tuesday was the Coffee Monsters Co. I mean, I wrote pretty big. You can see kind of what my daily checklists were. And then I used that other Taekwondo sticker on Wednesday. Thursday was order groceries, and because I did my sticker organization this last week, I actually get to use some of my new stickers that I got. And that was one of the stickers from Stick with the Plan Co. And then we have my wonderful gaming stickers from Fox and Cactus. And then this is where I'm like trying to decide on what cleaning icon I want to use. Like, what am I going to use to clean? Like, I don't know. And I just decided this was probably the best one, since we did most of them there, and it would take up that big portion. ER trip. So I have my medical and dental area, and I'm like, well, what am I going to use? So I'm battling between the little fox there and the cat, and I ultimately decide, obviously, on Cora the cat, and I think that worked out pretty well. And you guys are going to get a chuckle out of this Snuggles. So that little quarter box there says time for Snuggles, and you guys are going to get a kick out of what sticker I decide to use. Yes, a little shark sticker for Snuggles. I mean, because don't you want to snuggle a shark? I mean, that's kind of what it felt like. She was kicking me, and just like she couldn't stop moving and everything. And then for the bugs, that's literally what I wanted to do. Just not happy. Go ahead and fill in our dinners. Like I said, we ended up eating out on Saturday night, and then I just made a big batch of cucumber salsa for everybody. But that's it, guys. Bye-bye.